Now, I'd like to move on to the next speaker, Mr. Ali Rudinger, Secretary of Board of KRIS, which is a Sweden-based NGO operated by former offenders to provide peer support, as mentioned in paragraph 38 of the background paper. Today, Mr. Rudinger will introduce KRIS peer support services. Mr. Rudinger, you have the floor.
Yes, please. Yeah. I can't see a slide now. Can you see the first slide? That's our mark there, our KRIS, Criminals Returning to Society. Can I get the next slide, please? I want to start to say that, hi, my name is Ali, and I'm an addict and a former criminal. Hi, Ali. Well, thank you for starting this, but I think I need more support from everybody who's here in the hall, and maybe some people at home too. Whatever you are, say, make me feel welcome, and say hi, Ali, when I introduce myself. Hi, my name is Ali. I'm an addict and a former criminal. Hi, Ali. Well, you could do better than that. Hi, my name is Ali. I'm an addict and a former criminal. Hi, Ali. Thank you so much. And that's how we present ourselves at our daily meetings, group meetings we have at our local KRIS associations. I would like to thank you very much for inviting KRIS to come here and present our organization, and we hope that our experiences can be useful for you. I will tell you a little about my own experiences, but also as an organization, we are always a we association. Quite simply explained is that what I mean is that what I cannot do alone, we can do together. Next slide, please. This is me when I was a child. One day, I may not have been in my very best mood, so the picture will symbolize the feelings that I often lived in during my life. The feelings that took over as longer my addiction continued was feelings like guilt, shame, fear, anger, sadness, and anxiety. I will try to explain to you that every addict and criminal has a history, and it can be filled with things like bullying, abuse, trauma, segregation, poverty, alcohol and drugs, violence, war, crime, and much, much more. For my personal part, it was about bullying, trauma, and abuse. And the hardest thing for me was that I was bullied by older kids for many, many years as a kid, and I also was sexually abused by a pedophile when I was 9 years old. That made me angry and hateful when I got older, but I really felt sad and lonely and found that alcohol and drugs the only way that helped me deal with my life. I did not tell anybody about the sexual abuse that the pedophile did to me. It became a secret that I kept to myself for 30 years. I talked about it for the first time during my treatment in prison, and it made me understand that I was going to heal myself by sharing. So it's so important to start talking about things that happen in our lives that it's really difficult to talk about. So what I mean is that every addict and a criminal has a history, and that I think it's more important to understand than to be understood. Next slide, please. A lot of different bad consequences can get you to end up in prison, and then it's up to you if you want the white or the black wolf inside yourself to be fed. We in KRIS do believe that no one is hopeless, and that if you get the right treatment and the right help, anyone can succeed. And here come some of the ideas that can be useful in a life change. Next slide, please. A good start is if a person asks for help. Well, that's not so easy. That would be a really good start, though. Then we believe in a treatment similar to the 12-step program, which can help you to change your mindset and give back hope and faith. You can work with self-helping groups to find new supporting fellowship, and when you get out, you will need a lot of support and people who already have done this change. That's what KRIS is offering. In KRIS, we see addiction as a lifelong and incurable disease that we can break, become drug-free, and learn to live with one day at a time. Our criminal lifestyle we can change with a program called challenging a criminal lifestyle. I will return to that a little bit later in the presentation. For us, it's important to be drug-free, one day at a time, and it applies to all drugs, including alcohol. The more a person can work with himself already inside the prison, the easier it will be when it comes out. I also want to take the opportunity to mention a little from my own life. I became drug-free and honest thanks to the police, the judicial system, the prison, and the 12-step program they offered at the institution where I was served my last sentence. From April 1st, 1994, when the police arrested me, I have not had to use any drugs or alcohol since, and I do it one day at a time. With that decision and the work I have done with my criminal lifestyle, I have lived honestly, and I try to be a role model for others. So when I came out and started to stand on my own 2 feet, trying to live a normal life, many parts of life was difficult. I needed both time and support to be drug-free and honest. Then it was about housing, finances, education, family, social life, physical training, everything didn't work for me. And of course, to make amends for everything I have done during my active years. I grow as a human being by taking responsibility for our decisions and our consequences. When I do that, I start to gain self-respect, which in turn leads to self-esteem, and over time I start to trust myself and gain self-confidence as a human being. With the help of the 12-step program, meetings, support groups, and of course KRIS, I today have a fantastic life filled both with goals and meaning, where I also can help others. Next slide, please. Prison with a good content can be a really good opportunity to start a new drug-free and honest life. Then there will be more tasks and problems to solve when you are out in freedom. Then there will be a great need for support and help to build a new life. And of course, KRIS is one of the supports that many really need as a complement to other efforts that a person may need to build a new life. Next slide, please. The reason that KRIS started was due to a need for something that did not exist, which was some kind of a group or association that understood our problems, that can both help and also set boundaries, not accepting all the lies addicts and criminals live with. KRIS in English means criminals return into society, and it means we get a second chance to be a part of the society. We get the opportunity to make amends for things we have done, and the opportunity to be able to become role models in society and help others who wants to live a life full of addiction and crime. Therefore, we have built our association based on 4 cornerstones, which are honesty. We do not commit crimes. We are honest with each other and with ourselves. Drug-free. In KRIS, we are completely drug-free, which also applies to alcohol. We use drug tests to make our members feel safe. Fellowship. We are about to care the well-being of friends and respect our fellow human beings. And also solidarity. We help, respect, and care for each other 24 hours a day. KRIS conducts institutional visitation activities where members from all our local associations make regular visits to give hope and that there is a way out of addiction, crime, and exclusion. In total, we make about 1,500 to 1,600 visits a year, which is much appreciated by the inmates. I will also want to say that during these years, we have been doing this since 1997, we have helped, people have got support and help from KRIS. About 18,000 to 20,000 addicts and former criminals have got help from us, and we think that's a really, really good result. It has been and is a very special time in society this last year because of the COVID-19, of course, when we cannot or may not get into the institutions, and we all hope that it will get better and that we can come in and give the inmates support and hope. Next slide, please. Well, I said I'm going to come back to how we work with the criminal lifestyle. And we do it by challenging the criminal lifestyle of thinking and to see the motives and drives for a criminal lifestyle and giving the person a message of hope. There is a way to another lifestyle without criminality, and the message is that you can have a new way of life and be a part of the society. Most people commit some kind of crimes during their childhood. For some, the problem becomes more serious and they may need help not to go any further. Those who have difficulty quitting, often despite severe consequences, can get trapped in a criminal lifestyle. In the end, it can be just as difficult to leave the criminal lifestyle as to break with a drug addiction. What characterizes a criminal lifestyle is, for an adult, is irresponsibility, an image of oneself as an outsider, criminal thought patterns, and impulse action patterns. As early as 1950s, researchers noticed that there were various ways how criminals used to speak to themselves and silence the conscience. I could call it a form of defense mechanism. Later it became known as the criminal thinking patterns. These thinking patterns are, according to Glenn Walters, the founder of the criminal lifestyle theory, justification, cut-off or shielding, power and control, entitlement, sentimentality, super-optimism, cognitive indolence, and inconsistent thoughts. The driving forces in crime are several. One basic thing is fear. Fear is about not believing, coping with life. Instead, live with what crime can bring: belonging, status, and confirmation. Other basic driving forces are lack of self-control, lack of inhibitions, emotional coldness, and suspended emotions. In addition to these, there are other driving forces such as greed, shame, power and control, tension and lust. The goal of challenging the criminal lifestyle is to convey hope that there is another way of life. Next slide, please. Getting a good start, to have a good home where there are no drugs and where there are people who have changed their lives. One thing which is very important for a new life is to take care of themselves and to be able to make amends. To pay back to people you have hurt and to be paying back to the society by helping others who need help, and that's where our slogan is handy. It's simply help yourself by helping others. Another important part of life is to support your self-confidence. You really have to wish for an honest job and be able to keep it. KRIS have started some social businesses for our members as a possibility to learn a trade and do some good work. Of course, there will be mistakes made, and it's better that they do them at KRIS instead of in an ordinary workplace. Some of our members have never had a job, so we have to teach them from the beginning to be in time, to follow rules, to listen to our boss, and so on. Many with our background have no or had no experience of either education or work, so it's difficult for our members to be able to compete in the labor market. So in order to get a good job and with the life experience we have created our own education called KRIS Lifestyle Coordinator. It's a basic training in working with addiction and crime. The training lasts for 1 year and includes a lot of internship, and the course is based on the 12-step program and challenging a criminal lifestyle. It's a process education, which means that the students go through all the elements in their own lives, which means that their own experiences comes in handy. In addition to addiction and crime, we spend a lot of time on working with shame, guilt, anger, grief, violence, early sexual abuse, and other trauma treatment. About 65% of the students are offered a job already during the education, which we are very proud of. Next slide, please. As an organization, we have a great need for support from important people in society, both from business and politics. And some of those who are honorary members are the royal family. Here are two of our honorary members, His Majesty King Carl Gustaf XVI and Queen Sylvia. And a nice memory of Queen Sylvia is when KRIS celebrated its 20th anniversary, and Queen Sylvia spontaneously went up on stage and told about her memories where she had been participated in various KRIS events, and she told how important the organization is and that what difference we can make for our target group. Next slide, please. Now I want to go to the end, and I would thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come here, getting a chance to tell a little bit about KRIS and the activities we run. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the Swedish police, the legal system, and the prison service for the efforts they made to stop me and then to help me to get a good foundation for a new life. And inclusion, I want to say that before we were a burden for the society, but today we are an asset. And again, hi, my name is Ali. I'm still a recovering addict and a former criminal. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander, for sharing your very valuable personal story of successful rehabilitation. Since you're an ex-offender, we should carefully listen to your voice, and we have learned a lot from your experience. Yourself being a successful role model for rehabilitation, peer support by KRIS truly offers support to offenders, which is necessary but cannot be provided by governmental service. I'm sure that the regular prison visit and support by KRIS gives each prisoner a feeling of hope to start a new life. And he brought the brochure which introduced KRIS activity. And if you are interested to pick up this brochure, please come to UNAFE booth in the exhibition hall. He prepared the brochure in English as well as in Japanese.
I'd be there for some
Yeah.
question.
Yes. And also, he is enough kind to be here until the end of Congress. So if you'd like to talk with him in person, so please contact with UNAFE staff here and at the booth, UNAFE booth in exhibition hall. So we will arrange a meeting with him.